You spend all the time in the world researching this person, only to find that once you actually call them, they're the wrong person. They want nothing to do with you because this is not their job. Well, guess what, folks? Sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not, and they're actually the right person. They're just trying to avoid the cold call. Either way, we're gonna find a way to win this thing. We're gonna walk through a couple of steps using the Mr. Miyagi framework to handle this objection. Step number one is we're gonna walk through the mindset of what the prospect is thinking and how we should approach this objection. Step two, we'll go through a role play of how we handle the wrong person objection. And then lastly, step three, we will break down that role play. And a 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna grab Nick really quick because I'm the wrong person to run this one. Okay, bye. I'm kidding, guys. That's just a wall. The door's over there and I'm the right person. Let's do this. So when someone picks up the phone and they say,
"Hey, I'm the wrong person for this,"
it could be one of two things. They could actually be the wrong person, or they could be the right person and maybe not understand exactly what you do, or maybe they know exactly what you do, they just have no desire to talk to you, so they kick it to someone else. And so with every single objection, what we need to do to understand the objection a little bit more is we first need to agree with the objection and say, totally, I should have assumed you were the wrong person. And then from there, we need to get them telling us who the right person is by incentivizing them to share more information, which is always step number 2. And then step number 3, we need to sell the test drive, not the car. If they are the right person, we're going to sell them on the test drive. If not, we're going to try to get them to sell someone else on the test drive. So let's run this one through live, because today I get to call my good friend, Joe, who has nothing to do with the thing that I'm selling today.
Hey, Armand, I appreciate the call, but I'm totally the wrong person for this kind of thing.
Hey, Joe, totally get that. I guess I picked the wrong roulette color because it's usually either the head of demand gen or the head of content who manages this thing. My guess is, in this case, it's not you, it's Jane who runs content over there. Look, just so no one else calls you again, could you give me a sense, is she the right person or does this fall somewhere else in the org?
It's probably Jane over on content or someone on her team, but again, this isn't my domain, so she would really know better than me, I'm not sure.
Really appreciate you sharing the context here with me, Joe. Just so I don't come off as a total goon or get ping-ponged back to you, is it cool when I reach out to Jane just to let her know that you and I spoke so I can come off a little bit more informed?
Yeah, that's totally fine, no problem.
Joe, this is completely fine if the answer is no, but I'm gonna reach out to her over email. Is it okay if I CC you there just so I don't come off like a complete rando and I don't get ping-ponged around the org?
I don't know, but I mean, reach out to her and you can let her know that we spoke.
All right, so let's break that one down a little bit. I reached out to Joe, and Joe immediately said, I'm the wrong person. And I actually know in the back of my head, there's a good chance that I'm gonna end up back at Joe later on in the sales cycle, because that's just how a sponsorship sale works. It usually starts with content, and then it moves to the head of demand gen. But for now, Joe's saying this isn't my plate. Fine. What I did to incentivize him to share more information was, first, I agreed with the objection by saying, you're totally right, I picked the wrong color, this one's gonna start with content. And then to pull more information, what I did is I said, just so I don't get ping-ponged right back to you, is it Jane over there? And what he wants to avoid is me coming right back to him. But what he also subconsciously wants to avoid is he doesn't want me to reach out to Jane being like, hey, I talked to Joe, he said it wasn't you. And Jane points right back at Joe saying, hey, no, this is actually Joe, go back to him, because that makes him look bad. So in this case, if Joe was really the right person, by me saying I'm gonna reach out to Jane, he's gonna jump in and be like, okay, this is my plate. From there, he did say that Jane is actually the correct person, or it's someone on her team. I don't know, it's not my domain. So I have reasons to believe Joe. And so what I now need to do is I need to sell Joe on the test drive, which is a little bit less of a meeting with me and more of a test drive of an introduction to Jane. And the way that I did that is I said, hey, just so I don't come off as a total rando, or just so I don't get ping-ponged around internally. In other words, I'm gonna do the hard work of reaching out to this person, but just so this doesn't come back to you, can I let Jane know that you and I spoke? And the reason that I asked for that first was because if I asked for the referral, that's a big obligation for Joe. I'm asking him to do something, but I'm gonna ask for the lightest commitment first, which is just, hey, can I name drop you? And 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, sure, if I've gotten this far in the call. And then I added one more test drive question. And that one last test drive question was, hey, would you mind if I CC'd you on the intro? And that's usually where I wanna end. I prefer to not ask for a direct introduction. And the reason for that is usually they won't make the direct introduction after we get off the cold call. I want to be in control of the introduction, and what really matters is I can put them on CC and get the social proof so that there's an internal conversation that happens such that someone is going to reply to that email. Alrighty, folks, so to recap, we agreed with the objection, we incentivized them to share more information around whether or not they were actually the right person, and then from there, we found out they were the wrong person, and we sold them on the test drive, which in this case wasn't a meeting with me, it was actually just an introduction to the right prospect. And if you're trying to follow this one a little bit more, or if some pieces didn't make sense, I would really recommend watching the original Mr. Miyagi video right over here or in the show notes, wherever we put it. Peace out, folks.